Hey everyone, it is the last day of the month. It is Wednesday, January 31st. There are some college basketball games tonight. There's not a ton that I like. I do have 6 games here, but there's a lot going on, and these kind of jumped out at me, so I'm just going to take about 6 or 7 minutes to kind of run through it here. But first game is the Notre Dame at Virginia game. I'm going to take the over in this, and I know when you think of Virginia and Notre Dame, you think of the teams that can't score and play good defense or whatever, but this total is 113.5, 113.5, and I mean, the total is so ridiculously low, I'm just going to take it. You're basically looking at a 58-56 game, and so I started looking at the how they played this year with something that low. Notre Dame is 17-3 over this number, 17-3. Virginia's 10-3 over in the last 13. Early in the season, in November when they were playing some cupcakes, they held some teams down, so they were actually, believe it or not, they had more below this. But recently, as the competition has stepped up, they've been above. So together, that's 27-6. 113.5 is just ridiculous. So I mean, these teams score 50, it's a 50-49 game, whatever, but it's a 113.5. I'm going to take it. So I'm taking the over here. So. Second game, Army at Colgate. Really just looking at the Army team total here. It's 57.5, really, really low, but I'm still going to take the under. I know they're averaging 60 on the year, but they've gone under, they've hit 57 or below in 3 of the last 4. They have the 355th best offense, the 354th pace, so they don't score, and there's not a lot of possessions to actual score here. So I thought when you look at Colgate's numbers, they're 131 in defense, so they've got a pretty good defense. They just kind of hit right around that top third. Their pace is 277, and that's important to me here. So it's not like they're playing somebody with a quick pace where they're going up and down. So I figure the 2 paces, Colgate having a pretty good defense and Army just being bad at offense, there's a chance they'll be below this number. Again, they've hit it 3 out of the last 4. Colgate also playing very well defensively of late. Their last 4 teams they have played, they've held them in the 50s. So I'm going with how Colgate's played well defensively and added on with those other numbers, and I'm going to do the Army team total under 57.5. So game 3. Chicago State at Duquesne. Chicago State is a 12.5-point underdog. They're not very good, obviously. They're Chicago State, but they're 11-5 on the year. Ken Palm 293, played a 339 pace, so it's there's not a lot of possessions. Playing Duquesne, who's 11-8, and they are the Ken Palm 103, so it's a pretty good team. So listen, obviously, Duquesne's a better team offensively, defensively, they're just better. They do play at a slow pace, though, which actually interests me here. So they play at the 209th pace. So I look at these 2 slow paces again. Whenever you minimize possessions, it makes me want to look at the a big underdog like this just to see if I think they can keep it within 12.5 points. Again, Chicago State's not very good, but they have won 4 straight games. They beat Fairleigh Dickinson. They beat Stetson. They scored 75 and 77 in those games, so they kind of ramped it up. The last 2 games, they played Division II games, so whatever that means to you, but they did score 100-plus on both of those, so I'm hoping there's some confidence in there. I'm hoping that 75 and 77, and then these 2 big numbers, I'm hoping there's something kind of flowing there, so they get a little bit more offense going. Again, the last 4 games have been great, right? The last 7 games, Duquesne has not hit 70 points, so they've been 69 or below in this, so they're not scoring a ton. So like I said, they're not scoring a lot. Chicago State is playing their best ball and scoring some points, keep those possessions down. 12.5 points is quite a bit, so I'm going to take Chicago State here. Only time I think I'll probably take them all year, but I'm going to take them here. Next game, and I love this game. It's my favorite pick of the 6. Richmond is a 1.5 favorite at Fordham. Again, bring this up a lot. A lot of people never take road favorites, particularly if it's some type of conference game. But it's only a 1.5, so it's a bucket. Richmond has been phenomenal this year. They're leading the conference right now. They're 15-5. They have won 10 straight games, mainly because they have the 37th best defense in all of college basketball. They are just locking people down. They're just winning games. Fordham 9-11 on the year, the 261st offense in the 61st pace. And I love this because, again, 261st offense, no reason to think they're going to be scoring a bunch on Richmond, who's consistently holding teams under 60. But one thing I do dig about it is the fact that they have the 61st pace, so they do like to run and gun. And I love betting against bad offenses that like to run and gun because they're giving up all these possessions where they're chucking the ball, missing, giving the other team a lot of possessions. So I do love Richmond here, giving a 1.5 on the road. Game 5, Lipscomb at North of Florida. So total sitting here at 154.5, and it's a big number. I never take anything over 160, 154.5. I have to really look at it. I do like the over here, which is basically a 78 to 77 game. So that is still a ton of points. So let's see how I think we can get these teams up near 80. Lipscomb, Ken Pop rating. 85 in offense, 264 in defense, 107 in pace. So love those numbers because the offense is pretty good, way better than the defense. Pretty good pace, which is nice. And then Northern Florida is 157 in offense, 300th in defense, 229 in pace. So the pace is mid to starting that final third, but the other numbers are really good. So I love that, which is good. Let's look how they've actually played. Hitting 155 or more. Lipscomb has done that. Actually, both teams have actually done this in 4 of their last 5 games. Lipscomb has actually scored 80 points in 5 of 6. And then Florida has scored 74 points in 6 of 7. So I started popping these numbers together. I'm feeling actually pretty good. We're going to hit 155 here. So it was originally going to be a lean for me, so it's my least favorite play, but I am going to take it. So, and then the final game is a Missouri Valley game, is Indiana State at Belmont. I've taken Indiana State a bunch this year. They are an 8.5 point favorite on the road. Again, big number, road conference game. But again, still only lost the 3 games all year. Lost to a couple of really good teams early in the year, and then they lost actually at Drake, who is a really good team. Again, both these teams are tournament teams. So still, no shame in any of these losses. They keep scoring a ton of points. They're averaging 86 on the year. Still the best shooting team in all of college basketball. Again, keep winning. 5 games ago, they played Belmont at home. They beat them by 30 points. Belmont just came off a win of UIC, which I keep saying Valparaiso is the worst team in the conference, but it may actually be UIC. There's in Evansville, there's about 3 teams in there that are pretty rough. But the way UIC is playing, they may actually be the worst team in the conference. So Belmont just beat them, and before that, they lost 4 straight games, and all those were actually lost 4 straight and 6 of 7. All 6 of those losses were actually double-digit losses. So Belmont not playing well. Doesn't matter if it's home and away. Indiana State just keeps scoring and beating teams up. It doesn't matter if it's home and away. And again, they just beat them by 30. I know it was at home, but it beat them by 30 here like 5 games ago. So I'm going to take Indiana State. I'm going to give the 8.5 points on the road. Don't have a problem with it. And those are my 6 plays tonight. If you guys don't mind hitting like and subscribe.